Hi, my name is Connor, and today I'm going to be talking about my DBQ essay for AP World History. My essay is on the Han and Roman empires, and specifically how they differed in their attitudes towards technology. Okay, so I'm just going to try to go through my essay and revise it a little bit and make it more clear, and hopefully do the sort of things that would get me more points if I were to be taking the AP test. So first of all, one of the biggest things that I can improve with this essay is making my thesis statements better, more clear, more what they're looking for. So, right now, what I have is first, the cause for this difference, talking about the differences in technology and innovation, stemmed partially from differences in the Han and Roman economic systems. And then I also have another factor that influenced these attitudes was the society of the Han and Roman empires, namely differing relations between social strata. So I guess what I was trying to do there is sort of, in each of them I have my overall, compare contrast the Han and Roman empires, and then in the first one I'm talking about that as with the theme being economics, and the second one, the theme being society and social system. But it could be worded more clearly. So in that first one, instead of saying this whole thing, I think what I'm going to say was the difference in attitude could have been. Actually, we'll use more firm language on that instead of could have. Was due in part to the different economic systems of Roman and Han empires. And for the second one, I can say, because this one doesn't make it quite as clear, so what I think I want to say instead was, is also the Han and Roman empires also differed in their social structure, and this difference was another factor in that could explain their different attitudes towards technology. Okay, so let's read that now. Now it says, the Han and Roman empires differed greatly in their attitudes towards technology. Oh, let me just delete that for a second. The Han and Roman empires differed greatly in their attitudes toward technology and innovation, with Han society being much more innovative and receptive to new technological advances. The difference in attitude was due in part to the different economic systems of the Roman and Han empires. The Han and Roman empires also differed in their social structure, and this difference was another factor that could explain their different attitudes towards technology. Together, these different systems led to the establishment of very disparate ways of interacting with technology. So, I like that I have that sentence there to kind of sum up the first paragraph without just leaving it kind of hanging with a thesis at the end, but at the same time, I don't like the way it says together these different systems. It's just not very clear. So you can say together. Differences in Roman and Han social interaction. You can say social interaction. No, I'll say society. And economic system led to the establishment of very disparate ways of interacting with technology. I like that. I think that's good, and I'm happy with that. So next I'll move on into my need for an additional document, because that section also could have used some work. So scrolling down here, I put that in the bottom. My issue here isn't so much that I didn't mention it, because I did. So what I have here already is that I say in light of this deficiency, after I talk about point of view, it would have been helpful to have had several more primary source documents. Helpful perspectives might include that of a woman, a peasant in either society, or a slave in Rome. Any one of these would greatly improve the analysis and would help to give a more complete picture of these two very different societies. So, while that kind of, it sounds nice, I think that, I don't think it's too poorly written or anything, but really the issue there is that although I say that all of those would greatly improve the analysis, I'm not really saying how. I'm not saying what each of those perspectives would offer. And I need to do that. So, because that's an important part of the point of view. Additional document. Excuse me. So instead, what I think also, I want to use more firm language, such as, instead of it would have been helpful, maybe, actually that's okay. Instead of might include, I'm going to say would. See, because here I say any one of these would greatly improve, would help to give them more. That firmer language I've learned is better. Okay, so after I say have several more primary source documents, helpful perspectives. Okay, I'll say woman, which could help us to understand how women clearly an integral part of society, no matter their social status, interacted with technology. In each society. I'll say society. Actually, I already said, yeah, I'll say society. And I'll say another helpful perspective would be that of a peasant in either society who would be able to support or refute support or refute the opinions and beliefs that comprise this essay. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna need to scroll down there. Documents for this essay. All of which were written by upper class individuals. Finally, just as the perspective of a peasant in either society would, especially in China, would be useful. The opinions of a slave in Rome would be helpful, because this important and somewhat, I won't say somewhat, and unique social class in the Roman social system. No, sorry, I don't really like the way that's worded. Actually, I'll say, because slaves in Rome formed a very distinct and important part of population did not truly have a counterpart in Han China. And did not truly. For these reasons, it they had for these reasons, slaves in Rome. Okay, actually no. The influence of slavery on Roman attitudes towards technology certainly deserves a great deal of attention. Okay, so let's just look at what I have now. So it says, helpful perspectives would include that of a woman, which could help us to understand how women, clearly an integral part of society, no matter their social status, interacted with technology in each society. Another helpful perspective would include that of a peasant in either society, who would be able to support or refute the opinions and beliefs that comprise the documents for this essay, all of which were written by upper-class individuals. Finally, just as the perspective of a peasant in either society, especially in China, would be useful, the opinions of a slave in Rome would be helpful, because slaves in Rome formed a distinct and important part of the population and did not truly have a counterpart. I'll say have a exact, or not actually have a close counterpart in Han China.